There is a phenomena of air rage, which refers to being disruptive, aggressive, having an outburst, potentially belligerent, hostile, violent even. And there is a certain kind of airplane seating formation that leads directly to this, according to one study. I would show you a diagram, but it's very easy to just point out economy class, first class. That's it. That's the formation. A lot of websites are saying that right now. But it does show kind of a microcosm of perceived inequality, I guess, in this particular airplane setting, which is people who in first class get to sit down first. People in economy have to bristle by them, sit down. They see the better conditions. They see people perhaps looking down on them. First class gets a lot of free amenities that economy doesn't get, and it does lead to some hostile behavior, not really at each other, but to the flight attendants, which is sad because this is in no way their fault.
Right. Well, it's perceived to be free. I mean, it's being paid for.
It's not free, it's included.
Right. I know what you're saying. Can I tell you, though, I worked for a company once that allowed me a lot of first class flights. And I remember the first time I sat in first class, and you really are like, oh my God, what is this? Hello. And the thing is, like, that first class chair is not any better than this chair. This chair is probably nicer than an actual, but you're like, hey, and like economy walks by, and you're like, what's up, guys? Like, you have your like blanket and your eye mask. Like, when I flew, I looked like the Unabomber. Like, I was just like, well, I was like, I am here, and the thing is, when you're up in the air in that little metal tube, every little thing gets amplified, and you really are like, oh my God, they just served me a cookie on a plate. You know what I mean? Where you're like cooking up lasagna, salad, like things that you never would get if you were flying in economy. So everything's just amplified. And then there's that hedonic treadmill where as soon as you hit that next bracket of comfort, you relax into it, and then it's not so special anymore, right? Isn't that interesting?
That is interesting.
So.
Yeah, it seems like you said, it's a greatly concentrated version or scenario that kind of represents the real world, and then everything would be amplified a little bit, and you can see everything that's going on at that same measure. I haven't really flown in a plane that has a first class and an economy class.
What do you usually fly? JetBlue?
I've been doing Virgin a lot, or do they have some, I guess, preferred seats.
Right.
But it all seems to be like one big cabin.
Right, and it's all like very comfortable. I hear, yeah, it's interesting. I will tell you what frustrates me though, like before I even get on the plane, and once you're there, it's like the same concept as like cruise ships and everything, where yes, it's like, oh, we're all divided into our little groups according to like income or what we felt like spending.
Oh, like on ships where it's like first class.
Yeah, like the Titanic.
Steerage.
Right, exactly.
Dance around with the Irish people in the hull.
But like before we even get on, I mean, I'll tell you what drives me crazy. When they're like, okay, we are now boarding military and families with small children. Military and small children. And they're like, okay, we are now boarding our platinum elite members. Now we will be boarding our diamond platinum.
Our diamond tier.
Yeah. Now we'll be boarding our One World MasterCard Club holders.
Oh my
now we're boarding our
You're right.
Our Ox Club members.
Virgin does do that too.
Now we're boarding our Graphite Pearl Club members. and then like, so I might be in group 2, right? So I'm like, oh, I'm economy group 2. That's not a problem. And then they're like, first class members may board. I'm like, okay, good. Now we're first class. And then they're like, first class plus member, right? And then they go business class. Welcome to priority seating, business class. And then I go, okay. They're like, group 1. I'm like, oh, thank God, because I'm group 2. And they go group 1, and then it's like a mad rush of group 1, and they go groups 2, 3, 4, and 5. I'm like, damn it!
I just sit there and wait.
Am I right?
It doesn't,
I'm right, right?
It doesn't make me feel bad.
I feel horrible.
I don't. It's just like, well, I don't care about a lot of things.
I'm like, here we go. I'm like, you go right ahead, Graphite Ox Pearl Club, assholes. With your children.
I don't care. I don't care.
See, So you're one of those people that you like shut down, you like just numb out. You're like, let me just get through this flight.
No, because it's stressful. It's a stressful environment.
Yes.
There's a lot of people nearby. You might get sick. So the research, which actually is now appearing in the journal Proceedings of the National Academy of Science, does show to the degree to which our everyday physical environments and our sense of who we are, where we stand, subjective inequality, can sometimes turn us into, the scientific word is assholes? No, it's not. And this can extend to beyond the plane, such as concerts or sporting events, trains, any kind of large group travel situation. And so the researchers did try to take into account different things that might make people irritated, like lack of legroom or boarding sequence, like you just mentioned, which really bothers Hank, if you haven't noticed that yet. And they did say that, yes, we did take these things into account, and well, they tried at least, and they thought that, yes, the prevailing common factor here is the separation between economy and first class. And when I was reading these findings, it did remind me a lot of the Stanford Prison Experiment.
Yes.
Which was, in a nutshell, students were divided into an experiment where some would be prisoners and some would be
Guards.
guards. I didn't know I keep thinking like guardsmen? No.
Guards. Or guardsmen. I feel like that's a real word in the
And
dictionary.
then the guards they became power mad. They started treating the people who were prisoners poorly, not listening to them. And beyond poorly, cruelly. So it's just we have this subjective environment of where we stand in the rank of society, who are we better than, who are we considered worse than, where do we have to climb, can we climb? And it's just, it's very interesting to see how quickly people can change, judging by who's around them, basically.
Yeah, and I think a lot of it also runs the economy. I mean, if I could just quickly make like one more point. So I was raised really religious, and I ended up going to a Christian college. And one of the motivations for going there is you're like, oh, I'm like around everyone who's a Christian. Everyone's going to be loving and be a part of the community. And then you realize it's not the case, because every single group is going to find a way to segregate and discriminate within themselves, because everyone wants to feel a little special in some kind of way. Whereas, you know, when I was a Christian in the real world, it was like, oh, like it's us against the world, guys. You know, we got each other Friday, Saturdays, and Sundays. But
I see.
Right, but once you're in that community, I mean, I hear the same phenomenon.
It's something humans do, which is we always try to categorize ourselves or look at each other and judge each other and put us into categories. So it's always in-group, out-group, which is something that persists in, I think, every nook of society or groups of people, and it makes no sense if you look at it logically, but it's something that humans do.
Right. We're horrible.
Yeah, basically, human beings are stupid and horrible, and here's another example of that.
Okay.
So it is an interesting experiment. There is room for certain failures, I guess, in the research, but I think overall it's pretty solid. It does teach certain truths, I guess, about people and how terrible we are. Audience, have you ever been in a first-class economy situation, and what did you think about it? Let us know below in the comments, and please like and subscribe for more.